In 313 AD, a decision was made that would echo through the ages. This decision wasn't just a minor footnote in history, it was a monumental turning point that would shape the future of an entire religion and an empire. The Roman Empire, known for its vast territories and diverse cultures, was about to undergo a transformation that no one could have predicted. This decision changed the fate of an entire religion overnight. Imagine waking up one day to find that your faith, once persecuted and practiced in secret, was now recognized and protected by the state. For the Christians of ancient Rome, this was nothing short of a miracle. The Edict of Milan, as it came to be known, was a beacon of hope and a promise of a new beginning. This wasn't a religious decree, but a political one. Emperor Constantine, a shrewd and visionary leader, saw the potential of uniting his empire under a single, cohesive belief system. By granting religious tolerance, he aimed to stabilize and strengthen his rule. The Edict of Milan was not just about faith, it was a strategic move to consolidate power and bring harmony to a fractured society. It was called the Edict of Milan. This decree, issued jointly by Constantine and his co-emperor Licinius, proclaimed religious freedom throughout the empire. It marked the end of centuries of persecution and opened the doors for Christianity to flourish openly. The edict was a groundbreaking document, setting a precedent for religious tolerance that would resonate through the centuries. This edict had huge consequences. The immediate reaction was one of jubilation among Christians, who could now worship without fear of retribution. But the impact went far beyond the religious community. The Edict of Milan set the stage for a cultural and societal shift that would redefine the Roman Empire. Temples, once dedicated to a pantheon of gods, began to be repurposed for Christian worship. It changed the course of history. The Edict of Milan was a catalyst for the spread of Christianity, not just within the Roman Empire, but across the known world. It paved the way for the establishment of the Christian Church as a dominant force in Western civilization. The transformation from a pagan empire to a Christian one was profound and far-reaching, influencing art, culture, and governance for centuries to come. The Edict of Milan didn't just impact Christians, it also had a profound effect on the Roman Empire itself. By embracing Christianity, the empire found a new source of unity and identity. The edict helped to bridge the gap between different cultures and communities within the empire, fostering a sense of common purpose and shared values. This newfound unity was crucial in maintaining the stability and cohesion of the vast Roman territories. It also had a profound effect on the Roman Empire itself. The integration of Christian symbols and practices into Roman life marked a significant cultural shift. Public buildings and monuments began to reflect the new faith, and Christian leaders started to play a more prominent role in political and social affairs. The Edict of Milan was not just a religious milestone, it was a turning point that reshaped the very fabric of Roman society. The empire was about to undergo a massive transformation. The acceptance of Christianity brought about changes in laws, customs, and daily life. The Roman Empire, once a bastion of pagan traditions, was now on a path to becoming a Christian state. This transformation was not without its challenges, but it ultimately led to the emergence of a new era in Roman history. The Edict of Milan was a key turning point. It signaled the beginning of a new chapter for both the Roman Empire and the Christian faith. The legacy of this momentous decision continues to be felt today, as it laid the foundation for the spread of Christianity and the development of Western civilization. The Edict of Milan stands as a testament to the power of visionary leadership and the enduring impact of a single, transformative decision. The Edict of Milan was issued by Emperor Constantine. Constantine was a powerful Roman emperor. He ruled over a vast and complex empire. Constantine was a shrewd politician. He understood the importance of keeping his empire stable. Constantine saw that the Roman Empire was in turmoil. There were many different religions and factions. This caused conflict and instability. Constantine needed to find a way to unify his empire. Before the Edict of Milan, Christians were persecuted in the Roman Empire. This period was marked by intense suffering and fear for those who followed the teachings of Jesus Christ. The Roman authorities viewed the growing Christian community with suspicion and hostility, seeing them as a subversive element that threatened the stability and unity of the empire. The Christians' refusal to worship the Roman gods and the emperor was seen as an act of defiance and rebellion. They were seen as a threat to Roman authority. The Roman Empire, with its vast territories and diverse populations, relied heavily on a unified religious and cultural identity to maintain control. The Christians, with their distinct beliefs and practices, were perceived as undermining this unity. Roman officials often discussed strategies to suppress the Christian movement, fearing that it could inspire dissent and weaken the empire from within. Christians were often arrested, imprisoned, and even executed. Their property was confiscated. The Roman authorities employed a variety of methods to root out and punish Christians. Public trials and executions were common, serving as both a punishment and a deterrent to others. Many Christians were forced to renounce their faith under threat of torture or death, while others chose to face martyrdom rather than betray their beliefs. Their lives were in danger. The constant threat of arrest and execution forced many Christians to practice their faith in secret. They gathered in hidden locations such as catacombs and private homes to worship and support one another. Despite the danger, the Christian community continued to grow, driven by a deep sense of faith and solidarity. The Roman authorities saw Christianity as a dangerous superstition. They believed that the Christians' refusal to participate in traditional Roman religious practices was not only an affront to the gods, but also a threat to the social order. Laws were enacted to specifically target Christians, making it illegal to practice their faith and subjecting them to severe penalties. They feared that Christians' allegiance to their God would undermine Roman rule. The idea that Christians placed their loyalty to a higher power above their loyalty to the emperor was deeply troubling to Roman leaders. They worried that this could lead to a loss of control and authority, as more people might be inspired to challenge the established order. The persecution of Christians was widespread and brutal. From the reign of Emperor Nero, who famously blamed Christians for the Great Fire of Rome, to the systematic persecutions under emperors like Decius and Diocletian, the early Christians faced relentless oppression. These persecutions varied in intensity and scope, but they all shared the common goal of eradicating the Christian faith. It was a dark time for the early Christian community. Despite the overwhelming challenges, the resilience and faith of these early Christians laid the foundation for the eventual spread of Christianity throughout the Roman Empire and beyond. Their stories of courage and sacrifice continue to inspire millions around the world today. The Edict of Milan changed everything for Christians. It granted them legal recognition and protection. Christians were no longer persecuted. They were free to practice their faith openly. This was a momentous change. The Edict of Milan declared that Christianity was a legal religion in the Roman Empire. It also granted Christians the right to build churches and to worship freely. This was a huge victory for the Christian community. Section 5. Freedom to worship. The Edict of Milan, issued in 313 AD by Emperor Constantine and co-emperor Licinius, was a monumental decree that changed the course of history. This edict allowed Christians to reclaim their confiscated properties which had been taken from them during periods of intense persecution. These properties included not only churches, which were central to their community life, but also homes and other assets that had been seized. The restoration of these properties was a significant step in rebuilding the Christian community and ensuring their survival. This was a significant step towards restoring the rights of Christians. The joy and relief among the Christian community were palpable as they began to rebuild their places of worship and their lives. The edict marked the beginning of a new era where Christians could live without the constant fear of persecution. With the freedom to worship openly, Christians could now practice their faith without fear. They could gather in their churches, sing hymns, pray together, and celebrate their religious festivals openly. This newfound freedom allowed them to express their faith in ways that had been denied to them for so long. They could gather in public, preach their gospel, and spread their message. Evangelists and preachers could now address crowds without the threat of arrest or violence. This public proclamation of their faith was crucial for the spread of Christianity, as it allowed them to reach a wider audience and share their beliefs openly. This newfound freedom was crucial for the growth of Christianity. The ability to worship openly, reclaim their properties, and preach publicly led to a significant increase in the number of converts. The Christian community grew rapidly, and their influence began to spread throughout the Roman Empire. The Edict of Milan was not just a legal decree, it was a turning point that allowed Christianity to flourish and become one of the world's major religions. Section 6. The Seeds of Change. The Edict of Milan had a profound impact on the Roman Empire. It marked a major shift in the empire's religious landscape. Christianity, once a persecuted sect, was now a recognized religion. The Edict of Milan also helped to unify the empire. By granting religious freedom, Constantine reduced religious tensions. This created a more stable and harmonious society. Section 7. A growing faith. After the Edict of Milan, Christianity spread rapidly throughout the Roman Empire. With the freedom to worship openly, Christians could now share their faith without fear of persecution. The Roman Empire, with its vast network of roads and trade routes, provided fertile ground for the spread of Christianity. Christian missionaries traveled far and wide, sharing their message of hope and salvation. Section 8. The enduring legacy. The Edict of Milan was a landmark event in the history of Christianity. It marked the end of persecution and the beginning of an era of acceptance and growth. The Edict of Milan had a lasting impact on the relationship between religion and politics. It established the principle of religious tolerance, which continues to be relevant today. Section 9. A world transformed. The Edict of Milan transformed Christianity from a persecuted sect into a major world religion. It paved the way for the Christianization of Europe and the development of Western civilization as we know it. The Edict of Milan was a pivotal moment in world history. It is a testament to the power of religious freedom and the enduring legacy of one emperor's decision.